Available now on Blu-ray from 88 Films, a company that previously only was releasing films in England. People like me who would look at those foreign discs and go, the fact that it's other region is just enough for me to justify not spending more money on cool discs from other countries when I spend so much on cool discs from here. Well, that barrier has been broken now. 88 Films is now releasing films in the United States, and boy howdy are they releasing films. They are, the first few releases thus far have been what this movie I'm about to talk about is, and they are films from the Shaw Brothers library of martial arts films that span, a decade or more. And this is from the mid-70s, I believe. I don't have my fact sheet here. Disciples of Shaolin, directed by Sheng. It is a traditional Shaw Brothers martial arts film. When you think about, if you think about Shaw Brothers martial arts movies, it's period dress, the period streets, the what I call interior exteriors, although there's a little less of that in this, and just a whole lot of foo. So basic storyline here is simple guy, orphan from the country, goes to another town where he's not really welcomed, but he's going to find, he calls him his brother. That's something to understand if you watch a lot of, or you learn if you watch a lot of Hong Kong movies, is there's a familiar term of respect people often give to each other. They call people uncle. They're not really the person's uncle. It's just sort of somebody who's older than you who you respect. And brother is another. We kind of do that here too. Just somebody who you have a strong bond with. So this guy goes to meet up with a friend of his to seek employment, or winds up finding employment with a friend of his who works in a textile manufacturing hut. It's like a building. I would say factory, but then you conjures up a giant building. It really isn't. It's a smallish building where people are standing at looms or sitting at looms creating cloth. So he gets a job there, and then the movie essentially is more or less a drama or melodrama about these two warring cloth manufacturing companies. And this guy, our hero, as it were, gets drawn into this drama because they start using violence to try to get the workers to stop working for their competitors so the competitor will go out of business, or to work for them or whatever. And he knows Kung Fu. It's a 70s Shaw Brothers martial arts film. The lead's going to know Kung Fu. In all likelihood, the joke is often, everybody knows Kung Fu. So they start enlisting our hero to basically defend their business. And through his masterful martial arts stylings, he thwarts the bad guys and subverts violence or hurts the bad guys, defends the honor of his fellow worker or bosses, and he starts sort of getting manipulated by the bosses to, he's getting promoted, he's getting treated better if he'll be the muscle for the company. And that leads to some strife with his friend who he's been living with, that the guy has lost his... he's sold out, so to speak. So it's a lot of drama about that. It's a lot of I wouldn't say class warfare drama. It's more like, workers versus owners of companies and things like that, with a whole lot of foo thrown in. Our lead, which I'll correct this down below if I say this wrong, going on memory, Alexander Sheng, I believe, is our youthful lead. He kind of has a bit of a Chan vibe. He kind of has a bit of an early Chan vibe, occasionally in how he looks, but also his martial arts style. It's occasionally funny. If you know the earlier Jackie Chan movies, I mean before he started directing things himself, the Drunken Master or Snake in the Eagle's Shadow or Fearless Hyena, the way he was back then, there's a little bit of that here. Now, Chan was very comedic. Sheng in this is less so, but there's a little humor in a lot of the martial arts, and in his style seems like about a mix of Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan to me, for what I know of them. And it's fun. I didn't find this to be like an uber classic of Hong Kong cinema for my taste. I think it is regarded as one, but from all we've suddenly become rich with Shaw Brothers movies in this country, and I ain't complaining. Between a recent Arrow 12 movie set and now 88 Films releasing these films, it's so exciting for me because these were never on home video terribly easy to see here, certainly not looking like they do here. Let me get into the technical aspects of this. This movie looks phenomenal. These are all these celestial restorations that were done not too long ago, and it looks gorgeous. Great color, razor sharp. Although there are shots that are out of focus in this movie, slightly out of focus, and it has to just be that was a mistake on the day. They're very, very brief moments, but it looks phenomenal, sounds great. You have your choice of an English dub, how most of us know these, or Chinese with English subtitles. You've got Boku extras. You've got, as I record this, I've only listened to the Sam Deegan commentary, which, as always, is excellent. It tells you everything you want to know about everybody in the movie, about the history of Shaw Brothers. It mentions a lot of other titles. You're going to be like writing down all these other films she mentions that you're going to want to see. Love her commentaries on these 88 Films discs. There's a second commentary. There are interviews with people who worked on the movie. There are trailers. The cover, there's a slipcase with new art, reversible cover that has new and original poster art, a booklet, a fold-out mini poster. I mean, these 88 Films releases are excellent. So if you're a fan of Shaw Brothers movies, it's definitely worth picking up. If you're a fan of this movie, this is going to be, I cannot believe this isn't the best edition you've ever seen and likely will ever see. So while it wasn't one that I think I necessarily need to see again before I see the rest of the Shaw Brothers movies, Disciples of Shaolin was fun. And I mean, I say fun, it was more or less a melodrama, but the martial arts weren't like the most amazing choreography that I've ever seen, but they were cool. Like there's a sequence where our hero is being sort of courted by courtesans and, you know, buttered up a lot to appreciate the position he's been given. And it sounds silly, he's on a swing and he's swinging up and down. And as he's going up over the edge of the big wall in the compound he's in, he can see somebody outside he knows getting beat up by thugs. And it's just an interesting stylistic moment where the camera just goes up over the edge and he does it twice. And then he basically jumps off the swing, jumps over the wall, and just cleans these guys out with only his bare fists. So some black and white sequences. There's some interesting stylistic choices that Cheh does in this film. So at any rate, if you like the Fu like I like the Fu and you want to see it presented correctly, which for a long time was really hard for people in the US, Disciples of Shaolin out now on Blu-ray from 88 Films.